Greetings and salutations. My name is Michael Schwahn, and June was a crazy month when it came to video game releases. Kicked off the month with Street Fighter VI, then immediately followed up that with Diablo IV, and then if you had managed to even barely get through those, Final Fantasy XVI came crashing in at the end of the month. There was a ton of stuff that came out, and that's not even considering things like BattleBit that sweeped across the internet real quick because everyone was so desperate to get away from Call of Duty and play something that was a modicum of decent. But there was a whole lot of other stuff that released in June as well. So if you've already exhausted all of those big budget options, here's a few others that might fit your fancy. First up is Killer Frequency. Killer Frequency is a first-person horror puzzle game set in 1987 that puts you in the role of a late-night radio talk show host in a small-town America whose callers are being stalked by a mysterious killer. This is released on June 1st to an overwhelmingly positive reception, with of the 576 reviews, 95% of them are positive. This is an adventure simulation interactive puzzle walking simulator game, and it is going to run you $25. Really interesting take is you are not necessarily the person trying to avoid being killed. You are trying to aid the callers in avoiding being killed over the phone. Seems to be doing pretty well for itself, so maybe give it a look. Keeping up with the more horror vibes, we have Amnesia The Bunker. Amnesia The Bunker is a first-person horror game set in a World War I bunker. A relentless AI-driven monster stalks you. Survival depends on finding tools, crafting items, and keeping the lights on. This is released on June 5th to a very positive reception, with of the 2,734 reviews, 92% of them are positive. This is a first-person horror action survival game, and it's going to run you $25. But it's also available on Game Pass if that's something that you're looking for. But there's no shortage of these first-person horror games, but it looks like this one might be a little bit of a brighter standout from the darkness that you're going to be creeping through. Out of the darkness and into a brilliant world of color, this is Harmony: The Fall of Reverie. The fate of humanity is at stake. Use your gift of clairvoyance to see into the future and stop an apocalypse that threatens the balance between your world and the deities. This released on June 8th to a mostly positive reception, with 75% of the 69 user reviews being positive. This is a story-rich choices matter story-focused game with multiple endings. It is also going to run you $25, as everything else on this list so far already has. If you're looking for a more interactive and in-depth story that might give you a little bit of the feels, this might be your game. Keeping with the color, we have Dordogne. Immerse yourself in a unique narrative experience and explore the 1,000 summer colors of Dordogne as you revisit your childhood to uncover lost family secrets in this touching, formative journey. It was released on June 13th to a very positive reception, with 95% of the 98% user reviews being positive. This is a wholesome adventure single-player exploration game, and it is going to run you $15. This is going to be a little bit more of a cozy experience as you explore a part of France, but, you know, if you just need a place to escape to, this might be what you're looking for. Escaping the confines of Apple Arcade is Bleak Sword DX. Discover and destroy increasingly horrifying creatures across an oppressive lo-fi world, wielding fierce weaponry and powerful magic in this pocket-sized action-adventure. This released to the rest of the world on June 8th of this year to a very positive reception, with 84% of the 160 reviews currently being positive. It's an action roguelike hack and slash game, and it is going to run you $9.99. Definitely got a really unique play on this one, with like the little like square blocks that you're fighting on and moving between as you go through this hack and slash adventure. I've had a couple of people tell me that this game is a lot of fun and it holds up all the way through. This is Trepang Squared. Become the ultimate badass in Trepang Squared, a gory, action-packed FPS set in the near future. Unleash all hell on your enemies, dodge bullets, and leave a trail of destruction in this hardcore and frenetic shooter. This released on June 21st and already has an overwhelmingly positive reception, with 95% of the 1,669 user reviews being positive. It is going to run you $30, but it is polished and is meant to be a spiritual successor to Fear, one of the last great games from Arcane Studios, and that was back in 2017. There is an overwhelming resonance of positivity around this game, and everyone that has tried it has absolutely loved it. So if you're really into those high-octane shooters, maybe give Trepang Squared a try. Apologies if you get whiplash from this tone change, but this is Dave the Diver, which is a casual single-player adventure RPG featuring deep-sea exploration with fishing during the day and sushi restaurant management at night. Join Dave and his quirky friends as they seek to uncover the secrets of the mysterious blue hole. This was in early access for a while, but it did release into 1.0 on June 28th, and people were excited all the way through that early access journey, and it has held up at release. It is currently sitting with an overwhelmingly positive reception, with 97% of the 12,413 user reviews being positive. That is a huge testament for any game, let alone one that up to this point I had never even heard of. Completely slipped under my radar, and maybe you did yours as well. But maybe that's all the reason why we should give it a look when we otherwise might not have. Okay, so I'm cheating just a little bit here, and this is 5 games taking up all of the same slot on this top 10, okay? But you can't be mad at me. They're all the same game, just with different coats of paint. These are all bullet heavens, or survivor-likes, if you prefer that terrible term. So if you need more vampire survivors in your life, 5 more games in that genre released this month. You have Choo Choo Survivor, where you are playing as a train and collecting up weapons and just trying to make it down the track. Little bit different of a prospect on this one, given that you can't run around as much and you are attached to the rails, but again, still just a bullet heaven. We also have Brotato, which is, it says that it's a shooter roguelike, but really looking at it, it's just another bullet heaven, and that's absolutely fine. This was in early access for a while and just went into 1.0. People are loving the ever-living bejesus out of this one, though, because it has over 37,000 reviews, and 96% of them are positive. Next, we also have Spirit Hunters Infinite Horde, which, if you can tell, we're still doing the same thing. We just are getting different art styles every single time. This one is a little bit more magical. We went from trains to being like a G.I. Joe style dude. He's a potato. And now we are a mystical, magical person fighting off beetles and monsters and stuff. This one's got a handful of characters. Also was in early access for a while, but it already has 1,250 reviews. 77% are positive. Still going. We were on a train, we were a potato, we were a wizard. Now how about we jump into a mech? Because we also have Project Lazarus. And Lazarus, if I am able to speak it all in this frickin' video. Again, same thing. You're killing a bunch of stuff, you get a new art style, different set of weapons, new animations, but you're still doing the same bullet heaven gameplay. This one looks really good in terms of that it sets itself apart with some decent 3D models and some decent animations. Question then just becomes overall in the final balance of the game. Also over 1,000 reviews, with 84% of them being positive. To close out the bullet hells, we have Army of Ruin, which this one's a bit similar to Spirit Hunters, but you got a little bit more of a 3D animation effect compared to the more like kind of static JPEG looking ones that we had from Spirit Hunters. Again, over 1,200 reviews, 87% positive. All of these games, like most bullet heavens, are extremely cheap. They're running you somewhere between $3 to $8 a piece. So if you just want to try these, you finally got through the new 100% Vampire Survivors. Here's your opportunity to go a little bit farther and feed that addiction just a little bit more. Second to last is Chilla's Art Night Security. There's not a lot on this game, but it's being reviewed fairly well. It's a Japanese psychological horror game about night security. It was released on June 16th to a very positive reception, with 90% of the 252 reviews being positive. It was developed and published by Chilla's Art, and it's kind of what you get on the tin, but it's meant to be an immersive experience where there's this atmospheric, believable environment that intensifies the horror experience. It's going to be another one of those psychological horror walking simulators where you probably have very little ability to defend yourself and instead get to just be terrified the entire time that you're going through the game. I wasn't able to confirm whether there is English options within the game, but with these games you don't always need it, but maybe just keep that in mind if you do decide to check this one out. Closing us out is Nimbus INFINITY, which is a high-speed mech action game set in the future of a war-torn Earth that has just begun to heal. Equip mechanical battle frames with weapons to customize your battle style and soar through variant battlefields while discovering the story of a new generation. This released on June 22nd to mixed reviews, with 63% of the 72 reviews being positive. It's only going to run you $15. Now, the reason I threw it on here is it actually looks really good in terms of like the visuals and the intensity of the game. But I looked at the reviews and most people are giving it a thumbs down because it is light on content and they are comparing it to its predecessor, which is Project Nimbus Complete Edition. This game is only $7, and this released back in September of 2017, and is currently sitting at an 85% positive review of 1,306 user scores. Looks very, very similar in terms of the overall gameplay. I'm not sure what the true inherent differences are between the games, but both games are 1.0 releases. They are finished and out, so if you wanted to give one a try and then maybe try the other one, your mileage might vary, but you don't see very many games that look like this one, where you are just in this really high-powered, action-focused mech battle, and it's really cool to see these, and I didn't want to let this one slip by when I caught my eye.
So, tell me, what did you think? Did we pick some good ones? There's a whole lot more out there, but we only have so much time, and if it gets too long, people start to lose interest. Which, speaking of, this is the third one of these 10 games you might have missed in previous months' videos, and every one has had a slightly different format with slightly different editing. If you've seen all three, maybe let me know what you thought about them, just so I can see what kind of stuff people like moving forward, because I want to keep doing these both so that I know what's coming out, or what has come out, and what I might be interested in playing, but also just in case you might have missed it as well, because it's hard to keep up with everything that's coming out at this point, and you're just not realistically able to, and you're not going to be able to play every single game you want, as much as that is unfortunate, and I wish it wasn't that way. But, I mean, spoiled for choice isn't a bad thing. But let me know what you thought about this video. I would love to hear from you. Did you see a game that you wouldn't have seen otherwise? Did you see something that you're going to try out? Put your thoughts down in the comments below. If you want to keep up the conversation elsewhere, two great places to do so are Discord and Twitter. I'm very active on both, so hit me up. Let's talk, because you can't tell, I like to talk, and I'd love to talk some more if you want to talk with me. We do currently stream on Twitch 4 days a week, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. And the day that this video goes live, I'm actually in the middle of a Final Fantasy XIV playthrough. We are playing through A Realm Reborn, trying to get through the entire main story quest. We're probably live right now because that's a whole lot of content to get through, and I'm probably not going to manage it in the time I allotted for it, but we're going to do our damnedest. So maybe check out the Twitch link down below and come check me out live, and we can have a conversation. Let me know what you thought about the video live in my chat. Otherwise, if you enjoyed this video, please leave it a like. If you want to catch future videos, please subscribe to the channel. If you do watch one of the other videos on the channel, or if I see you in the live stream, thank you and enjoy.